Sometimes life can just be plain difficult and you seem to spend a lot of your time battling to get what you want from your life, and the stuff that you don't want, well, that just seems to turn up without any problem, making life just that little bit worse. And it can be pretty tempting to get into a mindset of thinking everything is working against you, wondering if life should really feel this hard all the time, and becoming convinced that you're the problem, that somehow it's something in you that's attracting all the bad stuff. Does that sound familiar? Well, if you want to stop all that negative self-talk, keep watching. Hi again, Leslie Hornsby, welcome to my channel. And if you've watched my videos before, you'll know that I talk about life coaching and all things NLP related. And if you're a newbie, it's great to have you with us. And don't forget that subscribe button and the bell so that you get brand new videos, which I release each and every week. So, what's reframing and how can it help? The problem for many of us is that not only do we focus on the negative, but we revisit these thoughts over and over until you become convinced it's true. And this is where reframing can help, and it can help you break the cycle, build your resilience, and bring a whole new perspective that helps you discard the unresourceful mindset and look at a situation with an entirely new point of view. It lets you escape your usual reflexive way of thinking, where perhaps your emotional response is unchecked and often unhelpful, and instead reframes it to provide you with a new way, in the words of Richard Bandler, one of the founders of NLP, to start thinking on purpose, deciding how you want to feel and how you want to react. So instead of thinking it's all happening to you and you can't do anything to stop it, you can shift your attitude to something that's more empowering, such as, what can I learn from this situation? How can I use it to my advantage in the future? So essentially, you begin to regard problems as challenges. You do that, and how you approach and solve these kinds of life events changes drastically. In the context of cognitive therapy, cognitive reframing is referred to as cognitive restructuring, but essentially it's the same thing. The intention is to change how you interpret a situation or experience, an idea, event, or even an emotion, and the goal is to then establish a new perspective and perception. The whole point of this is to help you and encourage you to see opportunity in the face of difficulties rather than dwelling on barriers or the negatives. This kind of cognitive reframing can be useful in a lot of ways, from improving memory, boosting your happiness and overall success, and building resilience in the face of substantial challenges, and to reduce anxiety. A simplified example of reframing can be applied to the context of a failed relationship, for example. Now, this kind of event can, of course, be extremely challenging and painful in your life. Reframing will enable you to shift perspective and focus on the positives, such as asking yourself, what are the possible benefits of being single? Now, you might regard it as an opportunity, for example, to meet new people, or maybe make use available to potential other relationships. So you could take the view that you now have the freedom to do what you want to do on your own schedule. Furthermore, you can take notice of the valuable lessons you've learned from this relationship, which will allow you to have increasingly fulfilling relationships in the future. All these points are examples of how we can reframe a situation. Now, there are, of course, steps to work through to achieve this shift in your thinking, but in doing so, reframing empowers you to change the focus from negative to positive. Another context for reframing is the redefining of a problem as a challenge. Doing that leads to experiencing your reaction to it differently. If we attribute some physical sensation to a problem, for example, many people report them as having a heavy quality, whereas the notion of a challenge is sort of perceived as lighter and feels more positive. Now, one of the most common circumstances where reframing can work really well is when people become locked in an angry interchange. So emotion of anger has a tendency to overwhelm our thinking brain. We become flooded with adrenaline and cortisol, affecting our neurology. So you could probably think about a time when you became embroiled in a heated argument, and then how long before it deteriorated into just a series of personal attacks full of judgment, blame, and outrage at the injustice of what the other person was saying. Defense is up, you begin to make sweeping generalizations in your mind about the other person. So, or he's so insensitive, or she's so selfish, and the whole world is against me. People, of course, are rarely one thing, so whilst they might seem selfish in that moment, it doesn't mean that they're always selfish, and it's just at the heart of the moment that it suits us to see them that way, helping us to justify our own behaviour. Being able to take a step back, take charge of your emotional response, and go back to responding to only the fact and the truth of what another person is saying, as well as an appreciation that you're both acting out of fear or pain, or perhaps both, then you can begin to take control of your behaviour and your emotions. Part of reframing is the acknowledgement of the other person's viewpoint, and also the ability to allow yourself to be vulnerable, admit to your own weakness or fear. Now, this can often have quite a disarming effect on the other person, diffusing tension and giving them space to be similarly vulnerable. So we've established that reframing is great for making changes and interrupting patterns. Now, you'd normally work with the positive intention of an undesirable behaviour or obstacle or symptom. So what do I mean by that? Well, the origins of reframing stem from hypnotherapy, which is purely about helping you to reach a trance-like state, to heighten your focus and concentration, and to get in touch with your subconscious. And I know some people are wary when they hear the word hypnosis, but I can assure you it really has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with being made to cluck like a chicken or stand on one leg while singing a national anthem. If hypnotherapy is new to you, you might find the terminology unfamiliar or a bit confusing at times. So, for example, when you hear the phrase "the part," it's just a way of saying the area or thought process in your subconscious responsible for the choices that you make. There are many techniques in reframing, by the way, including context reframes, intention reframes and time reframes. However, to give you an idea of the reframing process, I'm just going to talk you through a 6-step reframing exercise. So the first step is to really identify the problem behaviour. You choose a behaviour or feeling that you don't like about yourself. Now, this will usually be something like, I want to do X, but I'm stopped by Y, or I don't want to do X, but I always seem to end up doing it anyway. Second step is to establish communication with your subconscious. So with the help of a hypnotic state, set up communication with the part responsible for the bad habit. You'll then ask the part a series of questions. So firstly, is the unconscious part of me that controls this behaviour willing and ready to communicate with me in consciousness? Compliance from your subconscious is key, because if you don't have that, it's not going to work. So next, ask to indicate yes, that the part is willing to communicate with me in consciousness. I ask that you increase the signal through a change in brightness, volume and/or intensity. If the answer is no, that the part is not willing to communicate, then please lower the brightness, volume and intensity of that signal. Step 3, separating behaviour from positive intent. Now, you need to look to separate the behaviour from the positive intention by asking the part, are you prepared to show me your positive intention for this behaviour? Step 4 is about resourcing new behaviours from your creative part. Ask to be shown 3 or 4 new behaviours or responses. Ask questions of the part such as, if there are choices you deem better than the bad habit to accomplish your positive intention for me, would you be willing to use them? Next, request the part go to the creative part and communicate what its positive intention is for you so that your creative part understands. Tell your creative part, once you understand the positive intention, please create other possibilities for accomplishing the positive intention and communicate these to the part that needs a positive purpose. The idea of all this is that the part of you that wants to reach the positive intention can then choose only those new intentions it believes will be better or work as well as the bad habit in achieving its positive intention. Each time a new choice is selected, ask the part to signal yes, so you know. Fifth step is to confirm commitment and to test the change. Ask the part that wants to reach the positive intention, are you happy to use these new choices in appropriate situations so that you can determine how well they work. Finally, step 6 is the ecology check. And this is the stage where you confirm compliance and acceptance by asking all parts, if there's any objection, signal yes by increasing the signal or decreasing it for no. 6-step reframing is a quick and elegant way to access useful changes in how you behave and feel about a particular situation. Beyond getting a solution for a specific personal problem, reframing has the benefit of creating a new positive attitude towards both ourselves and others. Another thing that you can try is also a 6-step process, and it's probably a good starting point if you're new to reframing, especially if you don't have the help of a coach. It's a way to help you focus on shifting perspective from problem to challenge. So step 1, you think of something that's not going well for you. Step 2, write it down on a piece of paper. Step 3, put the piece of paper away somewhere and just leave it for an hour, a day, a week, whatever feels appropriate to you. Step 4, retrieve the paper and read back what you wrote. And then you're going to jot down on the paper what you think are the benefits from this situation. Step 5, review the benefits that you wrote and read them aloud to yourself. Step 6, spend some time considering what you might need to do to bring about each of those benefits. And then describe in your own words, writing them down if you want to, how and whether you feel any different. If you'd like to explore how you can change how you think and deal with mental blocks and limiting beliefs, and you think life coaching with NLP might be something you'd like to try, then all you have to do is use the link that I've added below this video and you can get in touch, make a 30-minute appointment for a preliminary obligation-free chat with me. And if you'd like to read a bit more about NLP and some of the popular techniques, then why not download the free guide that I've added? Again, there's a link below. Don't forget to click subscribe to this YouTube channel to get more videos I post each and every week. I hope you can join me again next time for more on some of NLP's cutting-edge processes and techniques that are designed to help you lead a more fulfilling life. In the meantime, I thank you again for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.